walk-on for every video? I don't know. I like doing the walk-on, and it kind of seems like you guys like me doing the walk-on, so we're gonna keep on doing it. Either way, welcome back to Marvel Snap. We do have a patch day today. It's a really exciting one because primarily the thing that I think everyone's looking forward to is the increase of tokens to 2,000 on your Spotlight caches, and on top of it, the caches in the collection is now, I think, a 4 out of 9 chance. Maybe it's a 50-50 on. Either way, they doubled the chances of getting a Series 3 out of the collection caches, which is really exciting for everyone that is not Series 3 complete yet. And you know what? Get out there, spend those credits, and see what you can pull. Other than that, we do have a glimpse at what the March Spotlight caches are going to look like, and also some of the bundles. And we have seen some minor adjustments to some of the February cards. So let's get in there and let's see what changes have already been in store. So we already know the February season is a tie-in with the Captain America film featuring Red Hulk, but now we do know for sure, which we already kind of had a glimpse of it, that March is going to be Prehistoric Avengers, which is kind of an interesting theme. And then also we do, spoiler alert, know what April is. April is actually going to be based on What If. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, Peggy Carter, Captain America? Are we getting something else to bounce around the shield from Sam Wilson, Captain America, if Peggy Carter is going to get her own Captain America? So I don't know why, but immediately that was my first thought when I saw that the season was going to be What If. But either way, let's talk about some of the cards that did get changed before we look at some of the new ones in the coming Spotlight caches. So the first card that got a change is Cobra. He was a 3/6. You can only play this at the location where your opponent has exactly one card, and is now a 2/3. Activate, switch an enemy card here that didn't start in your opponent's deck to your side. That is really, really interesting, and I actually kind of really like this, especially in the new world of Iron Patriot and Victoria Hand, and honestly, even against Airshim, though Airshim is not as prevalent as he once was. I think this is going to bring up a lot of interesting play, especially if, you know, your opponent throws down an Iron Patriot, gets out a 6 cost for 2, and then all of a sudden the next, you know, they play it out early, then you can play Cobra on that lane and then potentially steal it. So very, very interesting card in Cobra. The next card that we're going to talk about, much to the disappointment of all of the bounce players out there, is Red Wing. He was a 1/2. On reveal, return one of your other 1-cost cards here to your hand, give it +2 power, which of course had all of the bounce players salivating at the mouth about how good that was going to be. Unfortunately for them, he did get changed. He is now a 3/3. The first time this moves, add a card from your hand to the old location, which in my opinion, as a non-bounce player, I like this change because I think this sounds absolutely insane. Especially in like dump style decks where you're trying to get everything out onto the board, and then you can potentially pull in like an Infinite or Red Hulk or a Gore or whatever. I mean, I feel like this card is going to have a lot of really interesting build arounds from it comes from a deck standpoint, and I'm kind of excited to see kind of what people put together with him. Another small snippet here, and this is absolute spoilers on the new mode that is coming, but we do have a little bit of information in the patch that the new game mode is going to be called Location War. The first one is going to be Doctor Strange themed. It's going to be called Sanctum Showdown. And then according to the essentially Datamine here, there are 15 turns, and every turn a location is selected and contested. The winner scores points at the end of each turn. Each turn, a card from each player's board on that contested location is removed from the game and placed back in the deck. Who knows what that's going to turn out like? It does sound fun. It sounds fun and silly, a little bit very similar to High Voltage. So I'm actually really excited to see what they kind of end up coming together with in essentially in Location War or Sanctum Showdown. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, but that's all we have on it right now. I'm hoping that Second Dinner gives us more information on it soon, and especially when this event is going to be coming live. And before we get into the Spotlight caches, let's take a look at the Season Pass card for March, and that is going to be Agamotto. Agamotto is a 6/12. At the start of the game, shuffle spells into your deck. So very much, you know, Thanos style, except instead of the Infinity Stones, he's going to have spells to play. We don't actually have the text on what any of the spells do so far, but, you know, they do have some really cool graphics or art on them. And honestly, some of them are expensive. We got 3 of them or 5 cost one's 2 cost, one's 3 cost. So they're not cheap. This isn't like the Infinity Stones where you can just play them all out in the beginning. So they probably are going to have, honestly, some pretty impactful abilities, I would guess. So I'm kind of excited to see kind of what they have in store for him, but we'll have to wait and see until the next patch to see what the text on each of these spells are to get a better idea of, you know, how he's going to feel. Okay, let's run through the Spotlight caches then. As I generally do, we're going to run through, talk about the new cards, say who he's with, and then I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet. I will usually do, before that month, talk about which ones I'm actually going to be spending my resources on, who I'm chasing after. But I am going to say on this first one, I'm definitely going after this one. On March 4th, we've got the new card Eson. Eson is a 613 legendary, which is an interesting descriptor on his description. Legendary at the start of the game. If all your cards have different powers, give them +2 power. I really like the sound of this card. I think that sounds really, really good. I think there's going to be a lot of, I guess, trial and error to try and figure out which cards to put in your deck. But I mean, essentially, you're going to have, you know, 1 through 12. Luckily, he is 13. So I think he's going to be a really cool, I guess, card to build around. I'm also picturing this guy in like a draft mode would be a lot of fun. I think the other thing is that legendary descriptor. We don't know for sure what legendary means, but I imagine they're probably maybe going to start leaning more towards the big bad cards have legendary status, and you can't include more than 1 legendary card in your deck. A la you can't have Eson with Thanos, potentially maybe, or Erishim, or something along those lines. But we really don't know what legendary means yet. We'll have to hold out for them to tell us, you know, what does that actually stand for. Eson is being joined by Beta Ray Bill and Wiccan. I think that, I mean, Beta Ray Bill is what he is. I still do not own him. However, I think that Wiccan is definitely a card that people slept on. If you do not have him, I'm sure you're like me, where I'm like, I need this card. I think the hard thing for me is I was planning on picking him up with tokens, and now I'm like, do I want to wait 6 weeks? So I'm not quite certain what I'm going to do, but it definitely is an option for me to pick him up before then. But more than likely, I'll end up hoarding my tokens like I have been and wait for Wiccan for this week. But either way, let's move on to the next one. On March 11th through March 18th, we have Starbrand, who's a 6/8 at the start of the game, +2 power for each card in your deck with 10 or more power. Who's joined by Scar. And Fastos. Fastos is whatever, but Starbrand is joined by Scar is just perfect. There's a lot of synergies there. I mean, this guy is going to go perfect in with with Surtur and Scar and probably Ares if you picked him up. Actually, Ares won't count towards Starbrand, so maybe not necessarily Ares, but yeah, this guy is going to slap directly into that Surtur deck perfectly. And honestly, he's going to be a monster, because I mean, how many 10 plus cards do you have in that deck? If you're running Arrow, Coal Obsidian, what's the other 4/10 that you have to be winning the lane? Why am I Crossbones, Scar? I mean, that's already 4, so he's already got +8. He's a 6/16. That's wild. Imagine if you can somehow manage to get everything on the board. If everything goes perfectly, you can throw down Scar and Starbrand on turn 6. That's a pretty big swing. That's a pretty big swing. So very interested. I'm actually, you know, it's a big boy. It's another big boy card. He's going to go great in this. I mean, I'm sure there's other decks that he's going to fit in very well, but for me, Surtur is his home. And I mean, honestly, Surtur keeps just getting a bunch of cards, kind of, you know, keep it relevant, I suppose. But I guess truly, does it really need it? On to the next one. On March 18th through March 25th, we have Firehair. Firehair is a 2/2. You can move this once. When this moves, revive one of your destroyed cards here. I'm honestly really struggling to kind of think of where her place is going to be. I mean, the first thing that I thought of was, I assume she has some sort of synergies with Phoenix Force, but I mean, I can't really place on how that would actually work out. The other thing is that she could be used as a tech against Shang. I don't know. I'm really struggling. So let me know your thoughts in the comments there of where you think actually Firehair could find a home, because I'm kind of struggling with where I would actually want to play her. I mean, I guess you could throw her into Destroy, but I mean, I don't necessarily think that really is good either, depending on kind of what your playline is and how many cards you have destroyed. Because I mean, you could just, you know, pick up a really big card that you Arnim Zola'd, or you could, you know, bring back the the 4-power Carnage that you ate with your Venom earlier. So I'm really actually really curious where Firehair is going to find a home. She's also coming back with Cassandra Nova and Nico, which Nico is one of my favorite one costs. I think she's a fantastic card. I think that if you do not have her, you should definitely take a look at this. I think Cassandra Nova is still decent, but I don't think in the world post, you know, 30% of the meta being Airshim, she's quite as good as she used to be. I think she's a card that you have her on curve is okay, but every turn after that, she just gets progressively worse. So I do like Cassandra. I think that everyone probably should have her in their collection, but for the most part, I think that she's just she has not aged as well since Airshim is kind of losing popularity. And the last Spotlight week of the month is going to be March 25th through April 1st. We have Khonshu. He has no text associated with him right now. He is a 2/1, but I imagine that's going to change once he does get his text added, because that's generally how that works. We do know that he does have moon cards that come along with him. He has a Khonshu Waxing and a Khonshu Full, so he will have some sort of cards that he generates along with whatever his text is. We'll have to wait and see what those entail. He's being joined this week by Scorn and Cersei. I think that if you like Scorn, or if you like Discord, Scorn is definitely a card that you probably need to chase after. She is extremely, I guess, vital right now to the Scorn shell. And then Cersei is just okay. I think Cersei ended up being too much RNG for people's liking. I think she's a fun card, but I don't personally own her, but I don't ever honestly see Cersei. And I think that's because there is so much RNG associated with her that she is not consistent whatsoever, and people just kind of steer away from that, especially if you can't control it. It's one thing if you're getting RNG generated in your hand with stuff like Iron Patriot, but it's another thing when it's on board and you can't do anything that, you know, after the fact. So those are the spotlights for March. I'm actually, you know, I'm kind of excited. We're going to see. I'm really excited for Isan. I think the Isan is going to be a card that people are going to be really hyped by. I think he's going to be super strong, but we'll see. We'll see how he turns out. And let's take a quick look at the bundles that are coming in March. Before we dive in too much, I will say is that there's no indication on whether that anti-venom bundle has changed or not. I think people are still on the fence on whether that's going to be a real thing or not. I'm crossing my fingers. I really want anti-venom. I'm more than happy to spend the 4,500 gold on anti-venom and the 3,000 tokens. So at this point, I don't think there's any indication that has changed. So I'm still going to hold my breath and hope that that bundle still lives. But okay, let's run through these real quick. On March 4th, we got Judgment Day for $100. You've got Airshim, 2 Spotlight Cash Keys, 5,000 gold, an Avatar, some boosters, and a Cosmic Red border. I mean, that is an extremely expensive Airshim bundle, but he does look like a really cool variant. Next one, and I'm actually really excited for these. I don't know if I'm going to buy them or not, but I weirdly am excited about these, is Brains and Brontosaurus. It is $20. It is an Iron Man skin, and it is based on the alternate universe where everyone is a dinosaur. So the entire Avengers are dinosaurs, and I don't know why, but I freaking love it. It's where the infamous T-Rex Dr. Doom comes from. And there's actually a whole bunch of them this month, and I don't know, maybe I will dive in and I'll get the whole Avengers dinosaur team, depending on, you know, what the relevance is, and, you know, if you can actually get them outside of money or not. This one is in fact a $20 bundle. I do really like the look of the Brontosaurus Iron Man, and it kind of makes me giggle that these are actually going to be variants for this month, and it fits. It absolutely fits with the whole Prehistoric Avengers theme. Next one is Stone Age Sorcery for $30. We've got Scarlet Witch, 1,000 credits and 3,000 gold. Currency value on this is not terrible if you are looking for essentially a Stone Age Scarlet Witch variant. Next one is we've got Captain Carnivore for 3,500 gold. It's 3,000 tokens. It is a Velociraptor. I think it's Velociraptor Captain America. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna get this. There's no shot I'm probably gonna get this. But yeah, that is our gold bundle for the month, and probably the ones that I'll be getting just for the token value in itself. Next one is Intel Architect for $50. We've got a Sage variant. 3,000 collector's tokens, 1,500 gold in metallic gold border. So that is not a bad. Actually, that kind of looks like a really cool Sage skin if you are missing Sage and you kind of want her. Next one on the list is Vibranium Virtuoso. We've got $20 for a Shuri variant. 2,000 credits and 1,000 gold is not too bad for 20 bucks. Next one on the list is Always Wearing Green. We have a Lizard variant for $10 and 1,200 gold. Honestly, as far as $10 bundles goes, this one is actually pretty decent. However, Lizard sees absolutely no play now. So unless you really, really need the gold, I probably would not suggest it. Next one on the list is Scream and Shout for a whopping 100 bucks. We've got Cannonball and Scream. You get 2 Spotlight Cash Keys, 2,400 gold, some Cosmic Orange borders, and all of the other associated goodies. I mean, Cannonball is essentially a needed card in Junk or Clog, and Scream is, I mean, essentially you need Scream to play the Bully move, the Scream style archetypes. So if you're open to $100 spending on the game, you know, each their own, this is probably a good one to chase after if you don't have either one of these cards. Next one on the list is Hunter's Instinct. We've got a Craven variant, 2,500 gold for 20 bucks. It's actually kind of a nice Craven variant. Actually from Brett Bean. I actually been enjoying a lot of Brett Bean's variants recently. Next one is a Blade of Radiance. We got a Dagger variant, 4,000 credits for 2,400 gold. Personally, I've always steered people away from spending gold on credits. However, since we do have the new and improved collection track where, you know, you're getting essentially double the Series 3 cards as you have previously, I would say that if you're early on in your Series 3 journey, it may not be terrible to chase after some credits in the first month or so, just to kind of boost that along. Because, I mean, I think essentially with 4,000 credits, you know, you're going to get like maybe 4 if you're extremely lucky Series 3 cards, so that's not terrible. Next one on the list is Vision of the Past. We've got a Heimdall variant for $15 with 1,500 credits and 700 gold. Next one is Who Let the Dogs Out. We got Fenris Wolf, 3,000 tokens, 3,000 credits for 50 bucks. So, I mean, Fenris Wolf has been extremely, I mean, he's been a good card in discard and in mill. So if those are 2 archetypes that you really do enjoy, for 50 bucks, you can have him right here. Next one is Cutthroat Conqueror. We have a Killmonger variant for 1,500 credits, 1,200 gold for $25. Is probably one of the, I'm gonna say worse, probably one of not good bundles of the month. So unless you really want this Prehistoric Killmonger, I would probably recommend against it. And the last one on the list is the Cretaceous Captain. We've got a Dinosaur Captain Marvel skin for 10 bucks, which actually, I mean, all in, that's not bad for all the Dinosaur Avengers skins. They've all been relatively cheap, and one of them was even for gold. So overall, I mean, if I wanted to get all the Dinosaur Avenger skins, I think I'm out, I guess, 30 bucks and some gold. But either way, I'm not as big a fan as the Captain Marvel one as I was the Iron Man one. I just really like the Iron Man Brontosaurus. But that's all the bundles for March. Okay, that's it for the patch/Datamine. I'm really hoping I didn't miss anything. Every once in a while, I'll do my video, and then after the fact, some more information pop up on the website. But you know what? That's par for the course. And if it does, I'll probably put it down in the comments. But I'm actually relatively excited for the March season. I think I'm more excited for March than I am for February. I think in February, Red Wing is probably the one that I have my eye on the most. And I think that's also because I'm really excited for his week, having Baron Zemo and Loki, which aren't necessarily two really great cards currently, but I think they're cards that I want to have in my collection. So overall, I think I'm really excited for March. I think Isan looks fantastic. I'm really excited to see what Agamotto's spells do. And honestly, there's another card called Ghost the First Rider, which I have no idea what that's going to be. I mean, maybe that's going to be one of the free cards they give us in one of the events. Maybe that is something that's summoned by Khonshu. Who knows what that card is going to be. But overall, I have a lot of excitement that there could be some really fun cards coming in March. And yeah, let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on the March season. Are you looking forward to it necessarily? Are you really excited to see what If is bringing? Because I mean, honestly, I'm hoping for the Infinity Gauntlet Ultron and What If, now that I'm thinking about it as well. Really hoping that's a card. But either way, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button for more of my content. I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.